What is up, everyone? If you hear any noise in the background, it's because I am not allowed peace on Mondays, at least not until after tax season. We have anybody who knows me personally knows that I don't really care that much about pop culture. I don't really focus too much on like celebrities and stuff like that. And the big reason why is because like I feel like there's much more important things to be focusing on than than them, and also the obsession with actors and performers and things like that. I get it, they're talented, but I feel like they don't necessarily do anything that affects lives nearly as much as politicians do. The fact that we kind of give all of our not I'm not gonna say we or all our I'm not gonna try to use a royal we, but I will say the fact that celebrities and the fact that entertainment and fiction is now kind of more relevant than actual things that are actually happening. It just feels a little. It feels a little idolatrous, so to speak. I don't know the right word to use, but it does feel like idolatry with just I don't know, a lengthier process. Because I'm not necessarily saying that fiction and works of art doesn't affect us at all. But what I am saying is that imagine some politician basically saying this form of artwork is now illegal. Now you can't get it unless you're willing to, you know, do a bid in jail or something. So it's too easy for things to it's too easy to just sort of ignore the things that matter to focus on things that don't, and another reason why I don't really care that much about pop culture is because I feel like it's too rapid. You know what I'm saying? Like every time you look up, there's a new performer being put to the spotlight. There's new actors, there's new actresses, and and before the internet, it was already kind of hard to know who was and who wasn't relevant. Now it's impossible because every time you look up, a new singer is being pushed to the forefront. A new actor, a new rapper, a new this, a new that, and me personally, in order for me to care about things now, I have to be at least within provincial, distance of it. You know what I'm saying? I have to, we have to have a conversation for me to care about you as much as people who don't talk to you would. Because, like, I don't really put that much focus into, I'm not going to put that much focus into somebody who I can't go to their house. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm if you hear me ever talking about like a celebrity in like mass detail or a lot often or whatever, it's because I A have had a conversation with them, or B visited their home, or C am allowed in their home. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if you hear me saying stuff like, "Oh, me and Cedric Alexander," if you hear me just say, yeah, I think Cedric Alexander is a good professional wrestler, just know that me and Cedric Alexander are probably like best buds. That's an example. Cedric don't know me and I don't know him. But that's what I'm saying. Um, but once again, though, I don't really care that much about like pop culture and celebrities and stuff like that. And another reason too is because it feels like a class thing in itself. Like in order for you to even like interact with these people or talk to these people or anything, you have to be in a certain class type thing. I mean, as I've said on multiple videos before, people in a higher class make it a habit to hide from poor people. Like just make sure that we're like to make sure that we're not even in the same circles. I can't go down the street and talk to a millionaire. You know what I'm saying? I can't even go to the neighboring town and talk to a millionaire. You know why? Because they're either A, not going to be there, or B, not going to talk to me because I look like these. I can't even, so it's just like, why would I want to focus on these people when I can focus on something that's more important, like politics? Because politics is super important right now, y'all. Like, with that being said, Kanye West annoys me. Um, okay, when the thing about Kanye West is, first off, I was never a fan of the guy. I was never but when Kanye West came into the music scene, I was slowly approaching nihilistic, just my complete and total nihilistic outlook on things. Like I was starting to hate music in its entirety. Like I can, I could listen to music, but like I wouldn't really want to. It's not like I wouldn't really listen to music on my own. I would have to like be around people and be in the mood to listen to whatever music that they're playing, because I can't even tell you the newest song I've heard, honestly, because I don't listen to music that much. It's like, well, that's impossible. How would you have you not listened to music for this long? It's like, cause I don't care to. I used to, I used to have access to this to Sirius XM, and then once I got into my rec and I lost the service, I just never really got around to picking it back up. So whatever music has been going on for like the past 2 years, I know next to nothing about. With that being said, though, with that being said, though, with Kanye West, I was just approaching this phase in my life. So like a lot of music that Kanye West was making, I either A, only heard because other people were playing it, or B, only heard because MTV at the time was actually playing some music. Remember those years when MTV used to play music? Music television, my foot. Yeah, it was essentially that. But I do remember hearing more. Like the more I started to break away from music, and the more I started getting into caring more about like news and things like that, the more the more you started to see Kanye West antics, like just sort of like, like there was the whole thing at that awards show where he interrupted that Taylor Swift girl, and then there was that his rants, like the dude would go on rants, and then there was that whole thing, like one time he went down to Louisiana, and if it wasn't Louisiana, it was a southern state, but I remember some of my friends from Louisiana actually went to this event, and he basically gave them what I like to call the Fire Festival special. For those who don't know, Fire Festival was an event where it's basically had like a whole bunch of alcoholic beverages, and no water, no food, no nothing. So it's like you had these little paper trays, and I think it was like cheese, meat, and a tomato, and and that was like people paid a lot of money to get to do this event. But yeah, so Kanye West basically said, that gives me an idea. So he did that, and then he did the whole. I think he did this on one thing where he put on his mask, put on his jacket, didn't say a word, but had a concert where the refreshments were like, if I'm not mistaken, in the double digits. So it's just that like the more I hear about Kanye West, the more I'm glad I was never a fan of his, and the more it kind of stresses me out how this dude still has fans after all the stuff he does. Like, I'm not necessarily, like I say, this dude doesn't do he doesn't, it seems like anything good that he does, he trounces with something god awful. and take it from, I'm a dude who tends to every so often make a mistake after doing something good. So I know how that is. But like it will always but it will always stress me out because it seems like he does his stuff. He does good things to try to cover up his bad things, whereas I do good things because I'm just trying to do good. Oh boy, but so it just it bothers me a little bit that so when you find out that he did the White Lives Matter thing with his shirt and Candace Owens and everything like that, it really sort of like stressed me out because it was like, first off, Candace Owens is not relevant at all. She's just a black Republican. That's it. That's all it is to her. I initially believe that Candace Owens was ultimately I believe when she started, it was just a grift because racist people will pay for anything. Like racist people will pay for anything that helps them with racist stuff. So like fun fact, there was this GoFundMe thing where this dude basically said, help pay me to go back to Africa, right? And a whole bunch of racists were actually giving him money while also like talking about how awesome America is or how dumb he is, or you should go back. Here's some money that you can do back. It's like racists will throw money at anything that they think is racist. So
like niggas that's gonna never leave no that don't even show up at a speech. Yeah, nigga, I'm gonna do this speech for y'all.
Can you?
I'm gonna need y'all to pay me in blood money. Like
Can you?
blood fucking impoverished.
You can hear me in there?
Oh yeah.
Okay. What? Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna need that money in blood, man. I'll do y'all a little speech and shit.
I can't have the N word on my video.
5 days later. Yeah, I'm not gonna do the
Oh my
speech.
god.
But I know y'all sent me the money, so thanks anyway.
Special guest, my roommate, everyone. So clearly, that was a thing that happened. He's talking. I mean, if you can't understand him, he's basically referring to the Brett Favre situation in Mississippi that I covered a few videos ago. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's like you kind of had this ordeal kind of going on. You had these things that were happening, and like I say, in my opinion, yeah, Candace Owens is irrelevant. Like I say, she's a black conservative, but like initially, it probably was initially a grift that but she started to believe her own BS, and now she just can't stop because that's probably her only source of income. That's just my belief. Like, I'm not saying that she probably doesn't believe her own BS. I'm not saying that because everybody kind of ultimately goes through that transition of reasonable thinker to bat crazy, conservative. So that it is possible, but with her, it's kind of hard to guess. So I'm not really going to. But the fact that Kanye did this stuff with, Candy, that's why I call them Candy and Kanye and Candy. When they did that, I feel like it was ultimately for attention and just sort of as a way to kind of just sort of reaffirm that they are annoying people. Before my roommate came in before my roommate had came in to interject, I wanted to actually bring up the fact that while I do find like I said, Kanye is a non-figure to me because I'm not a fan of his. Candace Owens is not a figure to me because I don't care about black Republicans enough to give her that kind of attention. But the thing that really did kind of stress me out was the White Lives Matter thing on there, and the big reason why that bothered me was because where in America has white lives not mattered at? Like that's what's stressing me out. It's the fact that it's like nobody has ever said that white lives didn't matter. Like nobody has ever there's never been if there was any country in the world where white lives mattered, it's America. You know what I'm saying? Because America is basically the pinnacle of white supremacy. It's basically the study guide of how to take over a country if you're a white supremacist. Just kill everyone that opposes you, and ruin people's lives, and treat it and make it into law. Also, put yourself above the law. It's a lot of things. Is a whole process going into it. So the whole concept that white lives matter is a racist catchphrase because nobody has ever said that it didn't matter, and the only reason why you would say it is because you want to just sort of tell black people to shut up about our lives mattering. So it's like for them to do this, especially in a European country, which is even weirder. It's I don't understand the hype. I don't understand how this is the kind of thing that should have Kanye West having mountain loads less fans than he does, and yet there's people who are going to defend him, and that goes back to the idolatry part. It's my whole thing is that it's okay to like something even if it's wrong, but don't try to make it seem like it's right, because the wrong thing that you like is still wrong. I'm getting interruptions all over the place. It's been a rough day. But but yeah, though, that's my thing. It's like, if you're gonna, like, my whole thing is that, like, if you're going to like something, right or wrong, you can't just convince yourself that it's always gonna be right. Because in this context, the thing that you're liking is wrong. The thing that Kanye West is a kind of a bad dude for this. Like, conservatives in general are bad people. Republicans in general are bad people. So it's kind of like, at this point now, it's like, either wear your hat, you know what I'm saying? Either wear your hat with pride, even though it's an ugly hat, or don't. Uh, this video was too long. Love, peace, and happiness to everyone. I'm sorry. This is actually supposed to be about something else, and I ended up going into a whole bunch of. Yeah. Interruption City. I better go ahead and take that call. Love and peace. Y'all have a good one.